Thanksgiving is a cherished holiday. It's filled with visions of turkey feasts and family gatherings. We've all heard the story of the Pilgrims and Native Americans coming together for a bountiful harvest. But have you ever wondered about the dark truth of this holiday? It often lurks in the shadows of this festive occasion. In this video, we're going to uncover the hidden history behind Thanksgiving, a story often left untold. Before we delve deeper, welcome to Histopalooza. We're exploring the hidden and less trodden aspects of history. Prepare to challenge accepted truths and celebrate life past and present. Before we dive into the intricate history of Thanksgiving, let me set the stage. The typical Thanksgiving story is about pilgrims and Native Americans coming together with warmth and gratitude. While that's part of the story, it's not the whole picture. The holiday's history is more than just a joyful feast. It involves pilgrims' struggles, their first harvest, and the vital role played by Native Americans like Samoset and Squanto. These elements form a more complex narrative, one that encompasses both unity and conflict between cultures. It's a history that asks us to reflect on the past and consider the future, making Thanksgiving a time not just for eating, but also for learning, healing, and growing. By understanding this history, we can celebrate Thanksgiving with a deeper appreciation for the tapestry of events that shaped it. This video is the result of extensive research and contemplation, highlighting the effort that went into unveiling the lesser-known aspects of Thanksgiving. The truth we're about to reveal may challenge the image you've held dear for so long. As we embark on this exploration, let me share a personal anecdote. I, like many of you, have fond memories of Thanksgiving from my childhood. The warmth of gathering around the table with loved ones and the delicious aroma of a home-cooked meal. These memories make the journey of discovery both personal and emotional. But now I ask myself, how well do I truly understand the roots of this beloved holiday? To uncover the true origins of Thanksgiving, we must journey back to the early 17th century when English pilgrims seeking religious freedom embarked on a perilous voyage across the Atlantic and landed in what is now Massachusetts. These intrepid pioneers were ill-equipped to face the brutal New England winters, and they found themselves in a challenging and unfamiliar wilderness. The Pilgrims' first year was marked by hardship, with nearly half of them succumbing to illness and the harsh conditions. But in the fall of 1621, the settlers experienced a bountiful harvest that offered hope for the future. It was during this time that they decided to celebrate with a 3-day feast, an event often considered the first Thanksgiving. Now, let's introduce the pivotal Native Americans who played a significant role in this historical narrative. The first to make contact with the Pilgrims was Samoset, a member of the Abenaki tribe. He boldly approached the English settlers, speaking some English that he had learned from earlier European contact, and thus became the bridge between two worlds. Samoset's introduction led to a meeting with Squanto, an extraordinary figure among the Native Americans. Squanto hailed from the Pawtuxet tribe and had been captured by an English sea captain in 1614, thus becoming fluent in English. After a series of hardships, including a daring escape and a return to his homeland, Squanto was uniquely positioned to assist the Pilgrims. With a deep understanding of the local environment, he taught the Pilgrims vital survival skills, including how to cultivate crops such as maize and beans. His knowledge of hunting and fishing techniques was equally invaluable. This cooperation was, without a doubt, a lifeline for the Pilgrims in their time of dire need. Squanto's guidance not only ensured their survival, but also contributed to the successful harvest that would be celebrated during that first Thanksgiving. If you are enjoying the video, please take a moment to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell. It really helps grow our channel. Now back to the video. As the Pilgrims gathered for that historic feast in the autumn of 1621, they were joined by Chief Massasoit and approximately 90 Wampanoag Native Americans. This 3-day event was a way of giving thanks for the bountiful harvest and the assistance they had received from the Native Americans. It's important to note that the event was a sign of goodwill and cooperation, an occasion for both communities to come together in unity. This is despite the complexities and differences that marked their relationship in the years that followed. But beneath the surface, a darker truth begins to emerge. These interactions led to the signing of treaties, many of which favored the colonists and often resulted in the dispossession of native lands. As we journey through the history of Thanksgiving, it becomes evident that this beloved holiday is not as straightforward as the storybooks would have us believe. While the shared feast is a vital part of the narrative, it's merely a piece of a much larger puzzle. Beneath the surface, there are tales of clashes, misunderstandings, and a complex web of treaties and negotiations that shaped the relationship between the Pilgrims and the Native Americans. The Thanksgiving story most of us grew up with is a simplified version of history. In truth, the real origins of the holiday are not entirely clear-cut, with multiple accounts and narratives to consider. One of the most commonly researched and reported stories begins with the Mayflower, which did bring settlers from England to what they later named Plymouth, Massachusetts. In 1621, these pilgrims did indeed hold a 3-day feast attended by members of the Wampanoag tribe. However, the terminology used during these early Thanksgiving observances is a matter of debate among experts. While turkey or similar poultry might have been part of the menu, the first Thanksgiving lacked many of the dishes we now associate with the holiday. There were no pies or mashed potatoes as we know them today. Instead, the menu probably featured locally caught seafood, also a dish called nasamp, a cornmeal porridge used by the Wampanoag and adopted by the Pilgrims. When discussing this historic event, it's essential to remember that while the story often revolves around the Pilgrims, Native Americans had inhabited the land for centuries prior. Their perspective on this event predates the feast itself. Furthermore, the arrival of European settlers 4 years before the Mayflower carried foreign diseases that decimated native populations, making it easier for colonizers to claim the land. Additionally, settlers came to abduct and sell Native Americans into slavery, a grim reality often overshadowed in popular narratives. The Native Americans were not originally invited to the Pilgrims' feast. The Wampanoag leader, Usamequin, had declared an alliance with the settlers, and members of the tribe arrived not to celebrate, but to honor a mutual defense pact. They had heard gunshots, mistook them for combat, and came to investigate. After some discussions, both groups decided to spend 3 days together and join the feast, although it did not establish a long-lasting tradition of unity as often portrayed in schools. Subsequent Thanksgivings for the Pilgrims typically involved fasting and praying, and some even marked dark moments in history. The 1637 Thanksgiving after the massacre of 700 Pequot people by volunteers is one such instance, and it's often cited as one of the holiday's origins. The Thanksgiving holiday's evolution culminated in a significant moment in 1863 when President Abraham Lincoln made a historic proclamation. In the midst of the American Civil War, Lincoln declared the last Thursday in November as a day of Thanksgiving. This gesture was not merely a holiday proclamation, it was a deliberate effort to unify a nation torn by division and strife. Lincoln recognized that the holiday could serve as a unifying force, helping to heal the wounds of a divided country. By designating a day to come together in gratitude, he aimed to promote a sense of national unity and shared purpose during a turbulent time. Lincoln's decision to establish a National Day of Thanksgiving marked a pivotal moment in the holiday's history, shaping it into the inclusive and unifying celebration that we recognize today. The atrocities suffered by Native Americans, from diseases to massacres, paint a painful history that is often overlooked during Thanksgiving celebrations. The disconnect between the holiday's positive myth and this history can be deeply frustrating for many Indigenous people, especially when combined with cultural appropriation, like headdresses which are seen as a mockery of sacred dress. Supporting Native Americans is essential, not just during the holiday season, but throughout the year. This support can take various forms, such as seeking out Native American authors, activists, artists, and chefs, listening to their perspectives, and learning about issues that continue to affect Native communities, including healthcare, violence against women, and land disparities. You can also find out about the indigenous history of the land you live on using resources like nativeland.ca. When planning your Thanksgiving meal, consider buying food from Native American growers in your area and making donations to local Native organizations. Consider supporting local Native American artists and merchants. By embracing Indigenous values of togetherness, generosity, and gratitude, we can redefine the Thanksgiving holiday as a time to unite and celebrate what we all share. The food that has always been in front of us connects us to one another. Now, as we consider these historical complexities, let's take a moment to reflect. How does knowing these facts change your perspective on Thanksgiving? What do these insights mean for our understanding of history and unity? The history of Thanksgiving is a multi-layered tale, a blend of cooperation and conflict, unity and division. It's a story that deserves our understanding and reflection. In conclusion, the origins of Thanksgiving are more intricate and nuanced than the simplistic stories we often hear. It's a history of two cultures colliding, of cooperation and conflict, and of the consequences that reverberate through time. As you celebrate Thanksgiving this year, consider taking a moment to reflect on the past and think about the future. Let's make this holiday more than just a feast. Let's make it a time for learning, healing, and growth. Let's promote understanding and reflection as we strive to make Thanksgiving a holiday of unity and awareness. Thank you for watching and joining us on this journey of discovery. If you enjoyed this video or found it valuable, please like, subscribe, and click that notification bell. Also, you can check out our newest video here.